Architrave Gaming, I'm the Archmaster. So today I'm going to share a pet peeve of mine. It's when players pre-make a character and bring it to a GM's world. Now, in the games that I like to run, and in the games I think most GMs run, unless it's a one-shot, you can bring a pre-made character in a one-shot, that's fine. But in any sort of long-term thing, the GM has a world, and we all like, integrating our character into the world. We like, having meaningful choices and all that stuff. If the GM wants to run, some political intrigue game, and you're like, oh yeah, I brought in my, Harengon Fey Dwarf thing. It's like, that doesn't fit, right? It's kind of audacious for players to just make a pre-made character and be like, oh yeah, I made a character. Yeah, I rolled up his stats. I've always wanted to play this character. Oh, GM, you're running again? Yeah, I have a character. Let me bring it in. It's like, you're making zero attempt to try to actually suit that character to his world. You're just bringing your thing in there and be like, yeah, GM, I don't care about your world. Here's my character. Here's what I want to play. It's a self-centered mindset, and it kind of irks me. I think players should, when they hear a GM wants to play and they want to play in their world, like, all right, so GM, what's your world about? What's the adventure about? Okay, what kind of character would fit? What are your restrictions? How are elves considered, etc. Actually working to make sure your character fits in their world and integrates into it, with all the backstory stuff that we all like. That is a much better approach than just like, oh yeah, I have this totally disconnected character with a race or class that may make zero sense in your world. Your world could be in Eberron, it could be in like Stone Age, low fantasy. I have no idea what your world is like, but I'm just gonna make whatever I want and just bring it in here. It's like, I don't think that's the way to do it. And this is a similar concept to, well, not similar, but it's tangential to players railroading their characters. This is technically a separate issue. The GM is not the only one who can railroad. When the GM says, all right, this is your path. I know your path. I know how it starts. I know how it ends. I know what's going to happen in the game. You have to do this thing, right? And they just push you toward that thing. That's railroading. We say that's bad, GM. Come on. But players can do the exact same thing to their characters. Players can railroad their characters and be like, all right, instead of actually playing the game in an adventurous style, they're just telling a story. They say, all right, so here's what I want the character to do. Here's his story, here's his plot, here's everything that happens, and they write him almost like a book, and then they sit there and just tell a story at the table. At that point, you're pretty much bypassing the actual adventurous part. You're not a player at the table, you're a storyteller at the table. I'll just read what I wrote. Telling a story, deciding their end, instead of actually playing the character and letting their story emerge, right? It's supposed to be emergent storytelling, not pre-written storytelling. It's certainly not the most fun thing, and it's not really what the hobby is built around. Being a storyteller versus being a player. It's an adventure game, which means it has to be unknown. The unknown is absolutely part of adventure. So for you to really be a player of the adventure game and play the character in the adventure game, and for it to be adventurous, you can't know what's going to happen. If you know what's going to happen, it's not adventurous anymore. It's just a chore now. Oh yeah, I have to go, act out all the scenes that I wrote, instead of actually finding out what happens in an emergent, adventurous way. I'm not trying to tell anyone they're having fun wrong. I'm just saying that I think you'll be having a lot more fun. I think everyone will be having a lot more fun when you, first of all, tailor your character to the GM's world instead of just making something pre-made, bringing it to his world and being like, there you go, you have to deal with it. Actually accommodate your GM. And also don't railroad your character. I think everyone will have a lot more fun when you have your character concept, your struggle, your backstory, etc., and you just play it out and see, what would this character do? What's going to happen? I don't know. It's going to be amazing, right? Instead of, oh yeah, I know everything that's going to happen. I want them to be a werewolf, and I want them to get cured, and I want this, and I want that. It's like, that's what books are for. That's what books are for. But at the table, this arch game experience that we play, it's really much better than that. It's a higher form of entertainment. Fun, actually. Entertainment is what someone does for you. Fun is what you make for yourself. It's a higher form of fun than just writing a book, in my opinion. Anyway, like and subscribe, feed the algorithm. That's the end of the video. And thank you very much for my patron, McCarthy. Thank you very much, Jack McCarthy. Yeah, see you in the next one. God bless.